So, let's dive into this because this is not just a small update, it's a bombshell. Kiké Hernandez, the fan favorite utility man, the clubhouse personality, the energy guy who's been a part of some of the Dodgers' most memorable moments, is suddenly at the center of one of the most talked about updates this season. And the craziest part? It's not just about what Kiké has been doing on the field, but also what Dodgers President of Baseball Operations Andrew Friedman has just revealed about the team's plans, about Kiké's role, and about the bigger picture of this Dodgers roster. Fans were left absolutely shocked when these details came out. Now, let's rewind a little and set the stage. Kiké Hernandez has always been more than just a player for the Dodgers. Since his first stint with the team, he built a reputation as that versatile piece every contender needs. He could play almost every position, he brought personality to the dugout, and he delivered in clutch postseason moments. Who can forget his home runs in those big playoff games, or the way he lit up the clubhouse with energy when the Dodgers needed it most? He wasn't just a player, he was almost like a heartbeat for the team. But after moving on and then finding his way back to Los Angeles, the expectations were a little different. He wasn't coming back as a superstar, but as a steady veteran presence. And honestly, he's been exactly that. Solid defense, timely hits, and once again that infectious energy that his teammates feed off of. But here's the catch: Friedman's recent comments suggest that there's more going on behind the scenes with Kiké than anyone realized, and it could have major implications for the Dodgers moving forward. According to insiders and Friedman's own words, Kiké is not just being viewed as a role player anymore. The front office sees him as an essential glue piece, someone who could play an even bigger role than fans initially thought when he returned. That's huge, because let's be honest, when Kiké came back, a lot of people thought this was just a depth move, someone to fill in gaps when injuries pop up or when the team needs a rest day. But now, the tone around him has shifted completely. Friedman hinted that Kiké's versatility and leadership are exactly what the Dodgers need heading into the toughest stretch of the season. And get this, there are even whispers that his presence is changing how the Dodgers are approaching their trade deadline plans. That's right. One player, a guy that some fans didn't even expect to have a major role, is now being called a swing piece in how Los Angeles manages the rest of this season and maybe even beyond. Fans have reacted in every possible way. Some are absolutely thrilled because, let's face it, Dodgers fans love Kiké. He's one of the most beloved personalities the team has had in the last decade. People love the way he plays, the way he interacts with fans, and his larger-than-life character. On the other hand, some fans are a little skeptical. They're asking, wait a second, are we really building part of our strategy around Kiké Hernandez? Isn't this team supposed to be about the superstars like Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman? And that's what makes this update so fascinating, because Friedman's details didn't just talk about Kiké, they talked about the philosophy of this Dodgers team in 2025. Friedman revealed that the Dodgers, despite having a roster filled with some of the biggest names in baseball, still value depth and chemistry as much as anything else. And Kiké Hernandez is the perfect embodiment of that philosophy. In his words, you don't win championships with just stars, you win with the right mix. And that's the exact point that shocked fans. It wasn't just that Kiké was being praised, it was that he was being elevated as one of the critical reasons the Dodgers feel confident about October. Now let's pause for a second and really break this down, because this is what makes the update so important. Kiké isn't putting up MVP numbers. He's not leading the team in homers, he's not batting .330. He's not the kind of player that casual fans outside of LA would circle as a difference maker. But what Friedman is saying, and what insiders are echoing, is that his intangibles are something the team cannot replace. That versatility to move around the field, that energy that lifts the dugout, that playoff experience that settles nerves when things get tense, those are the details that matter in October. And if we think back to the last decade of Dodgers baseball, it's always been players like Kiké who've made those sneaky but unforgettable contributions. Justin Turner with the clutch hits. Chris Taylor with that walk-off. Jock Peterson with those surprising postseason blasts. Kiké with his multi-homer playoff games. The Dodgers have always been a team that shines because their role players step up when the lights are the brightest. Friedman knows it, and now he's openly saying it. Kiké could be one of those guys again in 2025. But wait, it doesn't stop there. The other unexpected detail that fans weren't ready for is that Friedman also hinted at Kiké's future beyond just this season. He was asked about what Hernandez means long term, and while he didn't come out and say extension, he left the door wide open. That has Dodgers Nation absolutely buzzing. Could the Dodgers actually keep Kiké around longer than people expected? Could he have a role not just this year, but in shaping the roster moving forward? When fans heard this, social media lit up. Some people loved the idea. They said, yes, keep Kiké forever, he belongs in Dodger blue until he retires. Others were a little more cautious, pointing out that you can't let nostalgia drive roster decisions. It's a debate that is splitting the fanbase right now, and Friedman knew exactly what he was doing by dropping those details. He wanted people to understand that the Dodgers are not just chasing short-term wins, they're thinking about the bigger picture, and players like Kiké are a part of that picture. And let's be real, Kiké Hernandez himself is loving every bit of this. Reporters asked him about the comments, and his response was classic Kiké. He said something along the lines of, I just try to do whatever the team needs. If that's playing 5 positions in a week, cool. If that's being the guy to keep the energy up in the clubhouse, I'm all for it. That's exactly who he is, and that's why fans love him so much. He doesn't shy away from the role, he embraces it, and he does it with personality. But the unexpected detail that may have shocked fans the most was Friedman's admission that Kiké's presence has actually allowed the Dodgers to approach certain injuries and struggles with way more flexibility. He basically said that having Hernandez on the roster has been like having an insurance policy. That's why when players go down or lineups need to be shuffled, the Dodgers aren't panicking. They trust Kiké to plug in, and that trust has been invaluable. So, let's fast forward to what this really means. If the Dodgers are serious about leaning on Kiké this much, then we have to start thinking about how that changes their trade deadline priorities. Do they need to push as hard for another utility guy? Maybe not. Do they trust him enough to cover multiple roles so they can focus on pitching instead? That seems to be the implication. And here's the kicker: Friedman revealed that Kiké's leadership in the locker room has been just as important as what he does on the field. Multiple younger players have apparently gravitated toward him, and he's become something of a mentor. Think about that. You've got rookies and young guys in this clubhouse who are learning what it means to be a Dodger, not from Ohtani or Betts, but from Kiké. That's not something fans would have guessed, but it's happening. When you add all this up, you start to see why fans are so shocked by this update. It's not just about Kiké playing good defense or hitting a timely homer. It's about him being viewed as a cornerstone of the culture and strategy of this Dodgers team. And when you think about it that way, it makes sense why Friedman dropped this bombshell now. That's all for now, but wow, what a story. Kiké Hernandez, once seen as just a depth piece, is now being called an essential part of the Dodgers' present and possibly their future. No one saw this coming, but that's what makes baseball so incredible. The stars shine bright, but sometimes it's the players like Kiké who end up writing the most unforgettable chapters. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.